see it.
All right, so Resident Evil 2, we're on the trailer.
This one's first.
We're doing this one first, all right. So again, thank you guys. It's been a long time in the making. RE2 was my first RE game way back in the day on the N64 one of all consoles. So around, this game is like almost 20 years old, which is pretty crazy to begin with. But we've heard your cries for years and years, and finally we're able to share a ton of information about the title. I announced it just at E3 just a couple weeks ago, showed off a little bit of the campaign from Leon, but just to give you guys an overview, a lot of people kind of view this as a remake, but what we're doing is a little bit more than that. I mean, it's fine to call it that, but what we're using is the basis foundation from the original game and building something more on top of that. So everything that you know and love, Leon's there, Claire's there, Umbrella's there, the Birkins are there, all that stuff, but there's going to be new twists, new surprises, new things to look forward to, new areas, and a lot deeper dialogue, a lot more character interaction. So it's just going to dive a lot deeper. Even if you've played it before, it's going to seem fresh and interesting. But if you've never played RE2 before, it's going to be like no better time to jump in. So this game comes out January 25th of next year, only a few short months away. We're not going to be holding it for too long. PS4, Xbox One, and PC. And to kick things off, let's just roll the trailer.
Or you can close the door if you want to. Alright, let's just stick your head on.
Is there anybody in this room who's heard of a game called Resident Evil 2? No?
Yeah!
Alright, thank you guys for coming out. We're here with not only people from Capcom USA, some of the guys that helped make the game themselves. Let's just take off with introductions. Who the hell are we? So we have your panelists. First and foremost, we're going to introduce from the far left. We have Peter Fabiano, so he is the motion producer from Capcom Japan. You also might recognize him from RE7. He doesn't do ADR. He might have been killed by somebody in that game as well.
Actually, I literally don't do ADR because that's not it's just my life.
Coming up next, the producer of the game itself, Resident Evil 2, Yoshiaki Miyamoto.
Thank you for being having fun.
We love you!
Next up, from Capcom USA, Ted Sung, our Director of Communications. His fun fact, he actually has a huge crush on Claire Redfield. Ever since that, who doesn't? That's true. Who doesn't? And last but certainly least, Mike Lund, Capcom Brand Manager for Resident Evil on the CUSA side. This title is special to me because RE2 was actually the first RE title that I ever played back in the day. I rented it from I don't know how many people know a place called Farmore back in the day. It's basically, this game was so scary, and it just means a ton to me. So to be able to work on the remake is basically a dream come true. So thank you again, guys, for coming out. Thank you all for joining us for this stuff today. We've got a lot of good stuff to show. We've got a lot of new stuff to show. So let's just kick it off with the trailer. Again, we announced this game back at E3 just a couple weeks ago. So to refresh your memory, let's just get things kicked off with the trailer.
All right, next one. Come on in. Hey, I can sit you down right on this one right here.
Yeah, slide bar.
There we go. Yeah. Crazy, I don't use masks. So Resident Evil 2 is definitely a classic game. So some people, I bet a lot of you know actually what RE2 is, but some might not. So we're going to start off with a kind of an overview of what the original was, kind of jog down memory a little bit, and for that, I'm going to pass it over to Pete.
Sure, and it sounds like most of you in the room are already familiar with the game. Hands up for those who are familiar. So it takes us back to 1998, land of grunge, flannels, and mixtapes. And it tells the story of Claire Redfield and Leon S. Kennedy. Points to anyone who told me his middle name.
Scott!
Very good, you guys know Scott. Okay, so Leon's story has him, he's a rookie cop, he's going in, it's his first day, probably the worst first day for anyone to on the job. And he finds that most of the people in Raccoon City, or at least in the police department, have perished. So that's his story, and then of course there's Claire who goes in looking for her brother, Chris. And this is about 2 months after the events of RE1, so of course Umbrella's somehow involved, at least that's what Chris is off doing, I'm trying to find out. And they're just in a mess. Lots of zombies, lots of things to overcome, and you know, it just furthers the survival horror franchise. And so that brings us to today.
The new game.
はい、この R2、ニュー R2 をどうやって、作ることになったのかというのは、もうすべては、ファンの皆さんの熱いラブコールからです。
So the kickoff to why we started the project, really, we have to give back to the fans.
はい、ここは何度か、20年前から、皆さんからのラブコールで、何チャレンジをしようかっていうところは検討してたんですけれども、もう素晴らしい、オリジナルをどうやったらリメイクできるのかっていうところが何度もプロジェクトとしては検討したけれども形にすることはできなかったんですけど、3年前に、ようやくいろいろな準備が、整いそうだというところで、作り始めるということが、Capcomとしても決めることができた。であまりにも、私とその神田プロデューサー一緒にやってるんですけれども、嬉しすぎて自分たちで E キューブの T シャツを、R&D のその開発ビルの近くの T シャツショップの近くに行って自腹で作ってそれを企業メッセージすることになったというのがスタートになります。
So for quite some time, even amongst the development team, this is something that we really wanted to make happen, but it just didn't come to fruition for various number of reasons. But it became just very, very clear that this is something that the fans really want. And so that kind of fostered some extra energy within the development team to really make this happen. So it was one of those things where 3 years ago when we're like, all right, this is finally coming to fruition, this is becoming a reality. Myself and producer Kanda, who's not here at the moment, we were just super happy. We actually went to a local t-shirt shop and purchased some We Do It t-shirts to commemorate the occasion.
And the point to make here is that this isn't just a remake, it's a real reimagining. Just like you guys are fans, the team themselves, they are also fans. And they want to keep to the origins of the original, they want to keep the essence of the original and build something fresh and new. Actually, we had a little slide here of the team. Yeah, this is them, they're working really hard back at home. And they're working super hard to get the game done and make it something that will please fans of the original and newcomers as well.
Great. So again, thanks to the team. What we're going to do now is take a deeper dive into some characters you may know. First and foremost, the man himself, Leon S. Kennedy. Basically, asking you guys. Sorry, what was that? Let's talk about how we built Leon for the brand new Resident Evil 2.
Yeah, so one important thing here with Leon is that, as I mentioned, he's a rookie. So we wanted to maintain that youthful look. And the director really wanted to kind of bring that out, show that this is kind of his arc. He's not a hero yet, so to speak. He's kind of just getting into his own. He's inexperienced, he's learning the ropes, and he stumbles upon this incident. So yeah, we brought a lot of that into the character design and tried to make him feel that way, so you could see it who he is.
So next up, just kind of going back to the early 90s, this is what I would, this is probably what a lot of you guys are classic Leon style, you got the hair parted down the middle, the blue armor style from the original PlayStation game.
Did you have your hair like that?
Yeah, it's so cool.
Did you ever have your
My hair was kind of like that. I wear too much gel, so it probably didn't do too much on the sides. But anyway, this is probably what most of you remember Leon being in RE2. Again, super, super, super classic design. But obviously, like Pete said, this isn't just a remake. We wanted to make it feel fresh, even if you've played it before. So what we've done in terms of going and updating the character, this next slide will kind of show you that process a little bit more.
はい。 これが、URE2 になっていく、デザインの歴史ですね。一番上がオリジナルで、そこから、どこまで、20年前の、少しファンタジーが入っているようなデザインから今の、URE2 のその世界観、リアリティがある世界観に、ブレイクダウンしていくかというところで、こういうような、流れでデザインをしてきています。
So this is like a really quick timeline from the top left. You can kind of see the transformation between the original Leon and what we reimagined him to be now. Because the original game from 20 years ago, I mean, it is based in reality, but it does have some fantasy elements to it. And we wanted to make sure that when we bring Resident Evil 2 to the modern age, that like, hey, we want to make sure that Leon kind of fits what you would imagine him to be now.
Right, it has to fit into the new world that you've created, right? And make it more real.
まずはこうショルダーパッドを外すっていうところはこうまずみんな決まったんだけど、そこからどのくらいそのリアリティのある装備でレオンがラクーンシティに入っていくかっていうところは本当にいろんなバリエーションを作る形になりました。
So the first thing that we decided to do was actually remove the shoulder pads. And from there, we were like, all right, like, what kind of armor makes sense for him to wear at this point? So we went through a lot of, my name card, sweet. So we went through a lot of different variations until we came up with what we see now.
はい、マークの部分も、オリジナルを大切にしながら、実際にこう作らなきゃいけないので、綺麗にブラッシュアップしています。
Also, the emblem that you see on the right-hand side, that's also something that we went through a lot of different variations.
で、このデザインが終わった後に実際に、3D のフォトスキャン、フォトグラメトリーの、手法を使うために、実際のコスチュームを用意して、これを用意した後に、実際の 3D に出た後ディレクターがさらに細かくこだわってチューニングしたものが今実際にゲームの中に入っている形になります。
So after we decided, like, all right, this is the general direction that we want to go with this costume, we actually created the costume in real life. And then through am I pronouncing it correct? Photogrammetry, we photo scanned it, and then from there, after we had the 3D model, the director would go in and make some additional changes as well.
Yeah, so it's my understanding that actually the patch that you see there on the shoulder, you actually sent that out to professionals to be created, right?
そう。本当にさっき言った通り、これちゃんと刺繍をしようっていう話になったんで、デザインから改めてリバーシすることになったんで、実際に全部刺繍を作ってます。
Patchwork.
Yeah, that's fine.
Just wanted to make sure that like we went from the ground up, so we went through a lot of different patchwork to make sure that it's as authentic as possible.
Yeah, we had a professional actually design out the emblem that you see, and then scan that.
Gotcha. So we talked a lot about Leon, again, with our trailer, or demo that we've got out in the Capcom booth downstairs. We haven't talked a ton about Claire just yet. This game does have 2 campaigns, so let's give Claire some love. So again, this is the original design. Man, this is what I remember. That pink, like, you were telling me earlier, like, it was almost like a biker ninja outfit. Anyway, pink hot pants, that drives me wild. The style of the 90s is crazy. I love it. Can't get enough of Claire, but let's again talk about how she's molded from, this early 90s PlayStation 1 game into the new Resident Evil 2.
はい、レオン以上にクレアのリデザイン、リマージンっていうのには時間と、いろんなコミュニケーションが発生しました。見てもらったら分かるんですけれども、オリジナルのクレアのコスチュームから、今一番こうファイナルになっているのが真ん中にあるデザインなんですけれども、ショートパンツじゃない形にはしてます。でそこが、開発としては一番大きいフォーカスのポイントではあったんだけど、オリジナルの、クレアが登場するシーンでやっぱりバイクに乗って彼女が登場するっていうところは彼女の非常に重要なアイデンティティだろうというところで、最終的にはチームのみんなでそうだねという形でこうバイカーとしての彼女のアイデンティティを重要視できるようなデザインに、ファイナライズしていきました。
So compared to discussions with how to reimagine Leon, we went through much more discussion in figuring out how to reimagine Claire's look. And so you can kind of tell, like, okay, this is how she looks, and then the transformation ultimately ditched the hot pants. And the ultimate decider in, like, okay, this is how her look is gonna is going to be is the iconic introduction sequence where you see her come in riding her motorcycle, and it's like, all right, like let's design something that makes sense for that image, which is what you see now.
はい、本当にね、ホットパンツのデザインをチューニングしようとするときにも、ホットパンツがあるバージョンがいいのかないバージョンがいいのか、上と下がレッドなのかレッドブルーなのか、もう本当にいろいろな話はしたんだけれども、最終的にこのデザインにするっていうところで、実際に、クレアのコスチュームもレオンと同じように作るという形になっています。
So even when we were still in the stage of like trying to alter the original design, it was like, all right, do we go with like hot pants red, hot pants blue, do we go red, blue, different color variations? It's like, all right, this is not working. So ultimately switched it over, and as you can see here, we did the same technique where we had the actual costume and then photo scanned as well.
はい、背中のマークのところもね、マークも刺繍から焼き印の方に顔のジャケットまで変わってて。非常にチーム一同、かっこいいデザイン、バイカーとしてはかっこいいデザインになっていると気に入ってます。
And you can see the emblem in the back. We had it kind of burned in this time around. Try to make sure that it's kind of a very iconic, cool look to her.
ちょっとここでは見せれないんですけれども、実はオリジナルの、デザインもこのレベルまで、作ってたりしてます。
So we can't show you here, but we actually did go all the way and up to this point in creating the original look as well.
So we got some hot pants out there.
この時は背中刺繍にしてる。
So at that point, the emblem in the back is still passionate.
Yeah, so I really love the way she finally turned out. This is kind of special. I think we've got something, a special shot here to show you. He mentioned also a motorcycle. That's iconic or kind of tied to Claire. Well, for this one, we actually tied up with Harley Davidson, and we've got one of their bikes in the game. Here is a pop quiz. Who can tell me what model that is?
Any bikers out there?
Speedster.
One front.
This is super hard. It is a 1998 Harley Davidson FX STB. I had to write that down because I can't remember it. Night Train.
And what this is like, what we're trying to do is, this game originally took place in the 90s. It's all about sort of staying in that era, getting like a bike from that time to help build that world.
I really love this shot because it looks almost like high fashion, and I love the way her model ended up turning out. So it just seems appropriate, seems practical for her riding, and she has a really good look to it.
Great. So next what we're going to do is talk a little bit, we've got the characters on board here, but so much time has passed between the original and now. We've got so many more tools. This game is actually built on the same engine as games like Resident Evil 7, our own internal RE engine. So we're going to tell you on top of the characters, what else went into making this game brand new and feeling just like super fresh and looking great. Starting with some of the tones and just overall style and part of the game. So, Witness in Darkness. Take it away, guys.
Yeah, okay, so what we've got here is, I should first mention that, again, starting with R7 and before that, we have a proprietary engine internally called the RE engine, and it really enabled us to bring out a lot of what we wanted to do here. I know that when I imagined the first day or the day at Raccoon City with the experience, I imagined it to be raining, and so the team also added that, and there was a lot of rain, wetness, we brought a lot of that out. You saw in the trailer, the zombie getting his head pulled back and all the details and the sinew and the muscle tone and all that. And so it really adds to the characters, the creatures and the zombies, and we can add so much to that. And we did a lot with lighting, as you can see here in these shots. It adds to the overall atmosphere, so it's this darkness. We kind of played with that and certain lights and how they work within to actually bring out some gore and some feeling, the atmosphere. Remember, this is survival horror, it's really important to do that. And since I mentioned zombies, I should say that he's going to tell you a little bit more about those.
はい、もうレオンとクレアに続く、RE2 の、重要な主役の一人、ゾンビなんですけれども、本当にこの主役だっていうところで、ゲームのプレイフィールの、部分だったり、ビジュアル自体に、テストショットを、作ってきてます。
So, on top of Claire and Leon being the main characters, I consider the zombies being one of the main characters as well. And so making sure that we kind of captured that essence and feel from the original game. We did a lot of different test shots of what the undead would look like.
で、今回のそのゾンビっていうのを開 開発チームでみんなでこう話をするときに何かコンセプトが、彼に必要だねっていうところで、どういうふうに、ゾンビを通して怖い RE2 を感じてもらおうかっていうところで、ゾンビのキーコンセプトとしてはこんなやつに噛まれたら本当に嫌だっていうようなそのバイティングに対して、コンセプチュアルに、作っていってます。
So we wanted to wrap our heads around like a single concept. When we were creating zombies, we wanted to kind of rally around one thing, and when we were creating the test shots, we were just like, all right, we want to make sure that whatever we come up with, it's ultimately going to be an entity that you just don't want to be bitten by. We wanted that motif of like being bitten just to really stand out.
RE2 のゾンビって何人もいる中のただの的として描きたいわけではなくて、本当にこう大切な、サバイバルホラーを演出してくれる主役なので、彼らに、そのアイコニックなバイティングっていうところは必ず必要だったし、それについては、ゾンビ自体の、モーションのデザインだったり実際のビジュアルのデザインだったりっていうようなところを、何度もイテレーションを繰り返して作ってます。
So we didn't want the zombies to just be a target. We wanted to make sure that each individual zombie was a potential adversary that would be a huge threat. And so whether it was the emotions, capturing the emotions, or figuring out their look, again going back to like the whole concept of being bitten by them, we did take special care in making sure that these entities were going to be very dangerous and scary.
Cool.
開発のスタッフとかもこうゾンビとしてカメオ出演をしてたりするので、もしかしたら皆さんも見たことがあるような顔の人がこうゾンビで登場しているのがこう感じれるかもしれないですね。
Actually, no, sorry, you got it.
We're just saying that we also had some of our own team kind of take part in making sure that we capture that realism as much as possible. So yeah, you might see some potential familiar faces within that zombie crowd.
Yeah, actually, we have some of the dev team embedded within the game, kind of like a little Easter egg. And the guy right there, the one at the bottom right, actually, he's one of the producers on Devil May Cry. You might have remembered his face, Matt Walker. He's not wearing makeup in the picture, so
yeah.
Probably.
It's Monday morning, hasn't had his coffee yet.
Yeah, I think we can move on.
Cool. So, next slide.
Yeah, so I mentioned over and over, and H has as well, that we wanted to keep to the essence of the original. But at the same time, we have made some changes, especially for the game experience itself. As you can see here, the goddess statue, which I think is an iconic piece as well, it's pushed towards the back, where I believe in the original it was more towards the front. Well, when you consider the layout of the open space in the beginning, you have the desk is something you're going to go to probably more often, maybe save or to do things, and the goddess statue is more of kind of a puzzle that you need to solve to progress. So considering that and how it worked in the game field, we switched their locations. And there are a number of places where we did this, either from the start or we considered little pieces. Overall, we have the general, again, essence intact, but we wanted to change it to make it better for the player experience.
Great. And these next couple slides, Pete, I know you're excited to talk about these ones in particular.
Yes, because he doesn't know about these slides. So I snuck some stuff away. And there's something I want to force him to talk about, and that is the use of color. I really, really love the team's design choices and approach to the way they looked at color for this game, particularly with just to put him on spot.
これ持ってくると今までちょっと知らなかったのでちょっとびっくりしてるんですけど。
Well, I'm a little bit in shock. I wasn't aware that we would bring these images over.
Surprise. It's Capcom, we gotta have some good stuff.
皆さんねこうはい一番上は初期のアートコンセプトになりますね。
So what you see right now is one of the initial concept images of Resident Evil 2.
RE2 っていうのは R エンジンを使ってすごくこう ハイエンドのビジュアル、リアリティのある世界を作ろうという形ではあったんですけれども、実際にこう世界を作っていく中で、ただただこうリアルなものを作るっていうだけではなくて、やっぱカラーの、ミックスの部分をちゃんと意識して、非常にこう魅力のある、ラクーンシティっていうところをやっぱ再現していこうというところをこうチームのみんなで話をするときにみんなのイメージを統一するためのアートだったりしているので、非常に色を使うっていうところについては、RE2、気を使ってますね。
So when we were in the initial stages, we already knew that we were going to use the RE engine, and we knew that we were going in a more photorealistic art direction. But at the same time, we figured like we wanted to make it kind of hyper-stylized, make sure that in terms of the visuals, it had its own special look to it. And so this art piece kind of represents like this is the color tone, the general atmosphere that it captures, regardless of the fact that we're going graphically in a much more realistic direction.
Wait, there's more to know.
Okay, I guess it's me. So what you're seeing here is something that I'm pretty excited about, and that's up until now you've kind of seen, especially with previous writers, you've seen textures or parts of the level. And with this one, we really were able to build out full environments. So you can see that here we've got the police station in its full glory. It's pretty cool because you can walk around and see all the different facets and the pieces of it that are every day. So that's pretty awesome.
Great. So and with that, we've kind of given you a deeper look at not only the characters themselves, the tonality, the zombies, the gore, basically all the nuts and bolts that go into making this game. Putting that all together, we have a new piece to show you guys, and this is actually a brand new piece of artwork courtesy of our friends over here from Capcom Japan. So this shot wraps up all those pieces that we just talked about. The characters themselves, the zombies, you got the color tones from the back, Raccoon City below. Everything that really is really special about the game in one piece. So we're super happy to show that one for the first time here at Capcom. But if you look a little bit closer into the game really well, you can recognize some callouts from like the older series, or I guess the original RE2. I'm going to toss it over to Pete H for a little bit more background on the inspiration behind this piece.
はい、RE2 の、オリジナルのね、キービジュアルっていうところがこうインスピレーションになってて、今のこう20年経ったこの今までの歴史と実際にこう最新の、技術含めたこうコラボレーションの部分を感じて、もらえたらいいなというところで、これを作ったデザイナーとチーム全員新しいニューアートっていうのは、非常に気に入っている仕上がりになりました。
So definitely using the original key art as a basis for the new one. Just making sure that, like, you know, we, again, maintaining the essence of the original, but kind of giving it more of a modern feel, thinking about, like, the collaboration that we have with Harley, and just, like, making sure that, like, hey, this is, like, paying homage to the original, but also making sure that it has its identity of its own.
ちなみにゾンビのアートもオリジナルの、モノクロの、片方しかこう顔が見えてないようなゾンビのアートを実はこうモチーフにして作っているので、そこら辺はところどころ、原作のオマージュが入ってたりします。
So we also had another piece of art, which, for those of you who are familiar, there was another piece of key art that kind of has just a zoomed-in focus on a zombie, and we also had another piece of key art that kind of plays off of that as well.
I believe it was the PAL version or cover art, and I think they had that as well, if I'm remembering correctly.
Black and white.
We had a playable demo down in our Capcom booth. It's 250?
Yes, yes.
Booth 215, it's on the A side, as far as you can down in the hall. Gives you the slice you play Leon demo, about 15-20 minutes, go through Raccoon City Police Department, catch all your zombies, all the good stuff. You can also get a free t-shirt, the one that I'm wearing here. It also comes with a little surprise.
Oh, is it fashion show?
I wore a t-shirt under this so that I'm annoying everybody with my
oh, Mike. Oh. It's fashion demonstration.
Still a bit of a taste. But yeah, you flip it over your head, you get the zombie face on, you can run around like one of our Raccoon City zombies. So nice little touch. Nice little touch. Easy cosplay. Easy cosplay.
Yeah, we have zombies at our booth just waiting to meet and hug you. They're very fun. You get the shirt, you get the photo op, lots of cool stuff to do.
That's right, we have a Raccoon City police car complete with zombie actors. You can take a giant leg and do some poses. There's lots of fun stuff down the Capcom booth, so check it out. On top of that, we have tons of stuff with our partners from Funko, with Stubbins, with American Classic Apparel, and as you can see here, we've got the Nemesis stuff from RE4, Classic from RE1, RE2 Liquor, obviously the Classic, as well as some other Umbrella stuff. But long story short, we've got a lot of great partners with licensed goods, all available all over Comic-Con. So I think that's just about it for RE.
Oh, you have something coming up after this, don't you?
Oh, that's right. Oh, I forgot.
I hope you're still coming.
So this was just a little bit of a taste. We've only got a short amount of time because we've obviously got Tim and Brett and Charlene to share a bunch of stuff, but we actually have a full hour-long panel just for RE2 that's going to have a lot more information than what I just said immediately after this. So if you're sitting here, please stay tuned. We're going to have a lot more to share on RE2 coming up really quick.
Yeah, we got 3 panels in a row in here.
Right, you're supposed to wear a shirt. Keep that bold, don't wear a shirt.
I forgot, and it's cold in here, really cold.